Welcome everyone. This is Johnny Jones here. Uh, this is the Weekly Scholar. This is a show that usually does scholarly work, but we do a lot of other things too. I have other shows as well. I have Sports Talk with Big Papa John, and I have the Johnny and Bracy Show, which is our new comedy show that will be tomorrow from 1 to 3. All right. So apparently I've gotten a couple of emails from people who like the show, and they're asking questions about what should be done about their lives. This has happened before, but now we just don't know, what do you call it? We're getting a lot more. I can only handle so much. I've not going to share everything about what's going on, and some of them have asked me not to reveal their real names. But they've asked for my advice, and I thought I'd give them advice on certain things. I like to let them know that I'm not a doctor. I do not have a big degree or anything like that, and that if they're listening to my advice, that it may not always be right, and I'm not a professional. And I am kind of broke, so suing me won't really amount to anything. And, but yeah, I can only give my opinion, and I reserve the right to be wrong. Okay, I've written some of I've gotten the letters, but I've written just what needs to be written down. Just get to the real meat and potatoes of their problems here. Let's start here. Or is it here? Oh yeah, it is here. Nice. First one says, Dear John, I watch your show and I do not know what to do. I'm tired of college and do not know if I can finish. What should I do? Signed, Alan Johnson. Also says there that he's in his junior year of college. I guess I would say to him, finish. I mean, you only got 1 year left. Finish college. Why not? I mean, if you've spent that much time at the college or university that you're at, you might as well finish. That's, I mean, it is something that you should really think about and consider. I mean, not everybody goes to college. So you probably should finish if you only have 1 more year. But I will say this. I don't know, life experience does matter in these instances. I think it matters what's your situation. If you feel like, if you're flunking out of college and you're just not doing well, then maybe you should take some time off to really figure out what's going on with you, or maybe you just need to suffer a little bit to, to figure out, to really remember why you go to school, and just figure out, is education important to you? And the biggest thing you can learn in college is that if you learned everything in a classroom, then you haven't learned anything at all. And that's just true. If you've learned everything in a classroom, you haven't learned anything at all. You have to really take in life experience and dealing with people and social anxiety and just a bunch of other things, and you have to learn from there. And that will teach you a lot more. That will really help your career when it comes to dealing with people and knowing how to treat people, as well as other things, as well as knowing who you are and not getting all your insecurities done with. Because there's some people that graduate college, and I've known people that have graduated from college after 4 years and they don't know what to do with their lives. Some of them have gone on to work at Applebee's or do community theater and other things like that, and they're just like, I wasted tons of money. Tons and tons of money on college for 4 years. I have no idea what I want to do with my life. Or they studied a subject that they didn't like just because it was easy, and they realized that they can't get a job in it. Or in order to get a job in it, they'll have to just take on more debt to go to grad school and stuff. But then they'll be miserable because they're not actually doing a subject that they like. I was just like, wow. But also, let's see here, Alan Johnson, I'd also say to you, somebody's got to build houses and roofs. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to be a construction worker, or the guy who lays down pipes and fixes sewers and stuff like that. If you feel like that's more for you, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all about, are there opportunities for that? So, yeah, take advantage of those opportunities that you get, and just relax with things. Definitely. My next one. Dear John, I live in a trailer park in southern Alabama. Wow. I have aspirations of someday being a beautician in Hollywood. I am 18 and have no idea how to tell my family. Wow. Especially since they still think I am straight. What should I do? Signed, Paul Davis. Let me read that again. I dream of someday being a beautician in Hollywood. I am 18 and have no idea how to tell my family, especially since they still think I am straight. What should I do? Signed, Paul Davis. Wow. Paul Davis. That's a life changer right there. Wow. That's pretty steep. I guess I would probably say tell your parents that you want to get it out in the open, and just tell them already. I mean, you're 18, and I guess it's time that you go live out your dreams, and I mean, you're going to have to finally tell your dad and mom what you really want to do with your life, and you can't hide it forever, especially if you want to be a male beautician. No, just tell them. Tell them what you need to do. Tell them what you want to do, and tell them, I guess you're going to have to tell them that you're not straight. There's a lot of problems with that, I know. Some people react poorly to it. I know that there are a lot of kids in the South and the Midwest who get kicked out of the house because they are gay or lesbian, and the parents don't want to deal with it, and a lot of them end up homeless. So I guess it's really, I've had friends that are able to maneuver this. One of my best friends, he finally told his parents, and his parents were like, "We know." And he was like, "Really?" And they're like, his name is Dominique, and they were like, "Dominique, how could we not know? Seriously, how could we not know?" It was just obvious to them, but they were just waiting for him to say it the entire time. So if it's kind of obvious that you're homosexual, then I guess they probably know. So I would just tell them and get it over with. And if they don't know, then the best thing, if they really had no idea, but you think you can talk to them, then talk to them about it. But if you think they'll have a reaction, because it is Alabama, if you think they'll have the reaction of a really, really poor reaction, then I would figure out well, if this doesn't work, am I able to live somewhere else? Can I and all that other stuff. But one day you're just gonna have to bite this bullet and be who you really are. Yeah. You're just gonna have to bite the bullet on this one and really go through it. It's tough. It is really tough, but I think you'll make it work. I mean, A&E will definitely do a special on you or something like that. What do you call it? Maybe they'll call it Hair Boss or something. It'll be famous or something. But yeah, just do that stuff. It should be fine. I wish you all the best. Any other thoughts with that? Yeah, I guess that's all I can really do with that one. Okay, my last one that I have that we'll do today is, Dear Johnny, I have 3 kids. My husband is unemployed. I do not know how we can keep going on like this. We used to have a middle-class lifestyle. Is there something we should be doing? Is it wrong if I leave him? Thank you, Emily Wazalewski, St. Paul, Minnesota. Wow. Emily Wazalewski, wow. You gotta realize that there's a lot of people right now who are not doing well, who are unemployed and just not doing well. They've had to cut back. Yes, you did have a middle-class lifestyle, but it's just a lot of people don't have the jobs, and it's just not working right now. And with the new year, we don't know if the economy is going to get better or not. It could very well get worse. It could get a lot worse, and it might get worse before it gets better. I mean, that's really how... Look at the Great Depressions in the United States of America. Things really got bad, really bad. Most companies died off. Most people were poor and didn't have anything. So if America ever gets like that, then things would have to get better. But the thing is, if it ever got that way, then the entire world would go bankrupt, even China. So the world would be in a depression, which is bad. There'll be a lot of suffering, but it might get better. It might get better. But that doesn't help your question. It matters what's he doing. If he's just sitting down on a couch getting drunk, not really looking for anything, or has given up hope, then and it's just driving you crazy, then you might want to leave him. You might want to call your mom and see if you can go live with her or figure something out. Like, if there's just no attempt to find a job. And I can understand that, because there are people that have been unemployed for long periods of times and just can't find work, or can't find stable work or yearly work. Like, there are some people that work that are seasonal workers right now. Like, that's all they have. But yeah, I would say if he's like that, then you could probably, it's probably the best that you figure out things. But if he's actually looking for work, and he's looking for help, he's looking for work, he's trying every day, he's really doing the best he can, then don't leave him, because he's trying. And what message does that send to your kids, and what message does that send to him? Because it's just like, wow, you were really in it for the money. Like, you cared about him as long as you continue to live a lifestyle. And when you take those wedding vows, it doesn't say that. Like, it says, until death do you part, to have and to hold. It doesn't say anything about, like, yes, I agree to marry you as long as you keep your figure, as long as you keep a job, and you're like a good provider, I mean, it's kind of implied, but that really shouldn't be all. Really shouldn't be all about what your marriage is about. And if that's what it's all about, then you don't love them. You don't love them. Because this guy is down on his luck. He gets a better job. He gets going again. Are you going to come back? You might as well not come back, because then you really didn't love him. And she didn't say if she's working or not, but if she's not working, then it might be time for both of them to start working. It's tough, I know. But I hope for the people listening that whatever advice I've given out has helped. Know that a lot of people are suffering in the world, and I mean, at least they live in a country where it's really possible. It's really possible that things could get better. I mean, there are children right now in certain parts of certain third world countries that they want to be teachers and they have these great aspirations, but really they'll never get there. And it ain't because they don't have the grit. It ain't because they don't want to try or they don't want to do the best that they can. It has nothing to do with that. It's just either their government can't afford to teach everyone. Government can't afford to make public school. School has to be private, and if you don't have the money, you can't go to school. If you are just not doing, if you're just, yeah. So take advantage of everything you have. All right, we're going to take a little break here. I'm going to read you an essay next, and we're just going to talk about some more things. My usual co-host, Jesse Jones, should be here in a few. All right, thank you. All right, folks, I'm back. Yeah, I'm not going to read the essay just yet because I kind of want you to listen to this song. This was a song made by Paul Shanklin, and Rush Limbaugh played it a lot. And I know that it can be offensive to a lot of people who listen to this song, but I want you to just really listen to it. This was addressing Barack Obama and whether he was a real black person or not. And I'd like to engage in discussion about this because here at the Weekly Scholar, we like discussions. We like having discussions, and we like to keep things open, and especially about race and other things like that. I mean, we talk about a lot of things, but as towards race, I think the worst thing you can do is not talk about it. That's not how you address a problem. You really have to talk about it and take conscious efforts into looking into these things. It's easy not to do it. It's really easy not to do it, but I think that people should really make a conscious effort. Not even just in schools, but just really looking at why people do certain things. And that will really help not only your critical thinking but your people skills. It will definitely help your people skills. So I'm going to play this for you now, and we're just going to talk about it for a little bit. Wow. Oh my God. Every time I hear that song, I kind of just like, wow. I can't believe it. I'm laughing inside. I'm just really laughing, and most people are just like, how could you laugh? That's just wrong. But this is why I'm laughing whenever I hear this song, because I wonder, why is there such thing as okay, it goes back to the stereotypes of what is black. What is black? What is blackness? What is what do you call it? And I think that's what the song was really touching on, because Al Sharpton, they're saying that he believes that Barack Obama isn't a real black person. He hasn't struggled. That he's not like Snoop Dogg or Farrakhan or like, and this is the thing. It always angers me about this, because whenever something happens to the so-called black community, who do they call? First person they call, Al Sharpton. Second person they call, Jesse Jackson. And it's just like, wow. You just third person they call? Not really anyone else. Not really anyone else. I mean, you always see, we only ever see the extremes of the black community. But like, either they're Muslim, Nation of Islam, they're what do you call it, extremely Christian, like not me, extremely Protestant Christian. They're just, yeah, or they're from the civil rights days or something like that. But you never really hear from like the average Joe of the black community, or just you never hear from somebody who is. You never hear from somebody who just doesn't have anything to lose. Because you look at Al Sharpton, and Al Sharpton, I mean, the guy makes money selling books, makes money with his radio show, makes money with his show with CNN. He's just making tons of money. So you keep on calling guys like Al Sharpton, and it's just like he's making the money. Jesse Jackson, whenever you call him, he's just there to maintain relevancy. Like to maintain that he's relevant, and he's there to make money because he's getting a paycheck. And then the rest are usually just to scare middle class whites, because when it comes down to it, the rest of Black America that they show is usually an angry black man. So then it just goes into people's psyches, and people see an angry black man every time on the news, or like you look at Cops, the show, and they're always arresting either an angry black man or a redneck, and it just gets out of hand after a while. Or when you don't see those people, the extreme, you don't see the extremes. You see the other extreme, which is the African American who's light skin, what they call good hair, who speaks eloquently and stuff like that, and who doesn't really stir up controversy. And so you have these two extremes. But you never really meet the black community, though, because it's so diverse. It's really, really diverse. A lot of us are mixed with different things and with different cultures. A lot of us speak different languages. Some speak French, some speak Spanish. The black community is very big, especially the black community in my generation. There are tons of us that listen to rock music. Like, we're big AC/DC fans and like 80s rock fans, for God's sakes. We love rock and roll. Some of us know how to play the guitar and go, some of us know how to play guitar. Some of us love hockey. I love hockey. I'm a big hockey fan, especially New York Islanders and Edmonton Oilers. I love those teams. Some of us are not some of us are Catholic. Some of us don't have any religion, and some of us really question things. We really question what's going on. We're not like, there are black Republicans. Of course there are black Democrats, but there are black independents who are like, both parties aren't really doing anything for me, so why should I vote for them? But this never really comes to light in the media, because the media doesn't want you to see it. And I think that is why it is up to us to keep talking about these things. We need to talk about these things. There needs to be a dialogue, and we cannot rely on media to have a dialogue for us. And we cannot rely on universities to have a dialogue for us either. Because universities are too worried about getting sued. So they won't really have an open dialogue. It will be a way to just say kumbaya and throw away all the problems. Put that under the rug. Can't rely on universities or even academics, because they're looking out for getting money. To make tons and tons of money, or to promote books, or so you can't really trust them. And a lot of people are scared to have these conversations, but I think they're good conversations to have, especially with a trusted friend. I mean, I've had these conversations with a lot of friends of mine who are of different races, and what do you call it? I think that Brock the Magic Negro song, there should be a dialogue about it. Like, why do people feel that people are a certain way? And how is this really affecting? How is this really affecting us as a society and as a culture? Why is it that when I walk down the street, a lady clenches her purse? Even if I'm wearing a suit, a lady will clench her purse because she'll see my face. And the reason is because she's seen similar faces all over the news. When majority of the crimes that happen in this country are not people who look like me at all. So yeah. I just think it's really good to have conversations like these. And you shouldn't rely on the media to have these conversations for you. You shouldn't rely on the media to tell you what's right. Because how do they know what's right? How do they know what's wrong? Some people may say that people who endorse that song are racist. Man, they may very well be racist. But this is the United States of America. Everyone has freedom of speech. And I say to them, as long as you're not hitting me or like attempting to blow up all black school or anything like that, as long as you have those views and you're not hurting anyone, and you can separate those views from, like, what do you call it, from like your everyday life or something like that, because there are a lot of people who are still racist. As long as you can separate that from your work life or anything like that, or not hurt somebody, then I say you're going to have those views. Why should you... You're going to have those views. Those views can be changed. But you shouldn't force people to change. You should really have them... Like, a person has to think about these things for himself and really get the material necessary and the life experience necessary in order to make those changes. People should be allowed to believe and think about what they want in the United States of America, because if a racist can say what he wants, I should be able to say what I want as well. I should be able to. I mean, I'm not going to be offensive or anything like that. I will try not to be offensive. But the thing is, you can offend anyone. So the hope is that you not offend somebody, and the attempt to not offend somebody is good. But ultimately, you have to say the things that are really bothering you. So yeah. What do you call it? The tactics of Rush Limbaugh and other people who have similar methods are not conventional, but I think they do get a dialogue started. I think there is a necessary dialogue to have. And it shouldn't be an end goal. We should never look at topics like race and other things like that and have an end goal of, well, one day we can end racism in America, or one day we can... No, it shouldn't be that way. Because this is a goal that goes much deeper than that. It's not just racism. The truth of it all is hatred. Why do people hate? Why do people dislike each other? Why are people envious of each other? Why are people so hateful, or just struggling to let go? Why are people struggling to let go? I think those are the real questions that we should answer. And those are hard answers to come by. But we should make conscious efforts. Like, racism will never end, but we can always make conscious efforts of what we're doing. of who we're talking to, of what the other person might feel or say. We should do that. We should be mindful, and as long as you're mindful, that's good. But we should not be so mindful and so careful that our meaning is completely destroyed. We shouldn't. You have the right of freedom of speech. I think it's time for the United States of America to start using it. Not just by voting, because voting is a part of free speech, but also if you don't like what a company is doing, stop buying the things from that company. If you don't like the monopolies of, the banks, stop banking with them. Stop getting 30-year mortgages. Stop buying iPhones and iPads. If you don't like that someone is, If you don't like that someone is a racist, stop associating with them. Stop associating with them, I guess. But don't target people. Yes. Don't target people because they have different views, because we're never going to have the same views. And if we all did, this life would not be worth living. This life would be very boring if everyone lived the same way as others. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. Jesse Jones should be coming in a few minutes. Hope you enjoyed that portion of the show. Alright, I'm back. That was a quick break. Just have to make sure the material is right. This is Weekly Scholar WHLC Radio. I'm your host, Johnny Jones. I'm going to read you an op-ed that I wrote a few months ago, I think in November. And this one, let's see how you like it. I'll read as best as I can for you guys. A few weeks ago, as my Lehman associates and I entered the D train in order to travel to Manhattan for a movie, it was apparent that we all had a long week. The week was full of class, homework, and internships that pay in experience. The life of a New York City college student is a very busy one, and time is essential to doing well. We were all exhausted and did not want to think about the work we put in during our college lives. Sometimes it can be hard to see an ending point to all of your labor, but there are certain events that persuade individuals to keep trying. The D train was a lot of fun. We laughed about the past events which helped to ease our minds. Sitting in the middle of the train, I could see someone entering our cart from another cart. This individual paralyzed me from saying or doing anything for a few minutes. As he began to walk through the train cart, the man was asking for change from individuals. To get something to eat for the night, I remained perfectly still and quiet as he approached. My friends did not pay him much attention, and I was still in shock. As the man walked past me, he said, "Hey guy, don't forget to smile. It's the most important part of the day." And then went to the next cart. My friends asked, "Why?" I was so afraid and quiet. When I saw the man asking for change, I replied to them, all that the individual in question played a big role in my life. The man on the train has been homeless since I was 13 years of age. I remember getting on the train for the first time in my life as a 13-year-old and saw him for the first time. In those days, he was a man of color, with long black hair, and sometimes wore glasses. He wore shorts, old shoes, and a filthy green blanket to keep him warm at times. The first time I met him, I thought to myself, this guy's having a hard time. And I hoped that one day his situation would change. I hoped that maybe someone could help him get on his feet, or that he does not have to give up hope. I previously stated that I first met the homeless man when I was 13 years old. I turned 22 years old in the month of November. Yes, this man has been homeless and living under the same hardship for the past 9 years of his life. Over the 9 years, I have seen this man continue to get worse, going through garbage for old food, not bathing for months at a time, and seeing his health deteriorate. I will not say this man has had a hard life, because it does not truly represent the hardship that he has encountered for the past 9 years of his life. The true test of character is not how much we know how to do. The true test of character is not The true test of character is not how much we know how to do, but how we behave when we do not know what to do, said John Holt, by John Holt. The man who has been homeless for the past 9 years has gone through a lot, and yet he has not given up on life. I commend this man because he has not turned to a life of crime by selling drugs or robbing people for a living. Also, for some reason, when I look at him, I can see that he is still alive inside. In all the time that I have known him, he has always reminded people to smile and to enjoy their day. When you hear those words coming from someone as humble as he is, it changes how you perceive your own situation. Many college students will be able to enjoy the perks of the holiday season, the gigantic portions of food, loved ones, and sports. It sounds like the perfect situation to be in during the holiday season. But remember, there are less fortunate people in the richest country in the world. They may not have all the things that others have, but somehow they find ways to not only keep living and to be appreciative of what they have. If those less fortunate can keep trying with their hardships, then so can we. Yep. Sorry about the mistakes, folks. Yeah. But yeah, I've known that man for 9 years, and it's just been really hard for him to get on his feet. And it's just, yeah, it's been a lot. Been a lot of hard work for him, and he, from what I know right now, he's still homeless and not doing well with his life. His health has been deteriorating for years on end. And the title of this op-ed is called "The Most Important Part of the Day," because I look at this and I'm just like, this man has nothing. The guy has nothing. Not one thing. Guy can barely get anything to eat. You know, he has tons of health problems. Can't afford medicine for it. Probably been arrested for being homeless numerous of times. Somehow let him go. Keeps on going in his filthy clothes. Can't get a shower or anything like that. And in New York City, it's safer to be homeless out on the streets than it is to be in a shelter. The things that go on in a shelter is just horrible in New York City. So you just really don't know what to do. And yet this guy still, when I look in his eyes, I can tell he's still alive inside. He's not cold inside. He's not angry. He's not angry at the world or people. He's not looking to hurt anyone. And he keeps going. And you kind of wonder, will you have the grit to keep on going if this happens to you? Will you? That's a question that remains to be seen, but I think a lot of people wouldn't have the grit to keep on going. When situations happen to people like that, you really see what they're about. A lot of people would start stealing. Yeah, they start stealing, robbing people left and right, playing tricks to gain money. If they're women, they probably sell themselves to get better. But, yeah. Co-host Jesse Jones is here. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm fine.
Sounds good. Glad you could make it. What do you call it? I was just reading one of my op-eds called "The Most Important Part of the Day." Did you hear it?
No, actually, I just came from work.
That's cool. How's your day?
Oh, it's good so far.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But basically, I was talking about a homeless man that's been homeless for 9 years. And he's, what do you call it? He still seems like he's alive inside. He seems like he's still got a good spirit and he's still wishing people the best even though he's got nothing. And it kind of makes you wonder, when people are put in that situation, you have to wonder about their true grit. Because it comes out, whether they have it or not. Like whether they're going to be willing to steal or do what they have to do or prostitute themselves in order to survive. And you look at this guy and he's not doing it. And some people would say he's dumb for not stealing and all that stuff, but it just doesn't seem worth it to him. But what do you think about this?
I think he has like a lot of internal fortitude, you know, to try to keep upright and not break laws and stuff. Because by the definition of his means, you know, a lot of people think that he should be breaking laws to help himself out, and I guess maybe that's just not how he wants to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's just, and that stuff is just tough right there, man. Because you're like, wow. You're like, what would you do? What would you do if you were in that situation? You're just like, you wake up and you realize you've been homeless for over 9 years. You're just struggling to make ends meet.
Homeless for 9 years.
Yep. Haven't had a warm bath in 9 years. Haven't had your mom's cooking in 9 years. If she can cook, I don't know. What do you call it? Just struggling.
I probably would have lost my sense of human composure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you look at it and you're like, they're everyday people that lose their human composure to less. How does that make you feel?
First off, it's like people forget to appreciate what they have,
Mm-hmm.
and then once it's gone, then that's when they realize the true value of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem, because like we're not even guaranteed to see tomorrow.
Yep.
The only one we're guaranteed to see tomorrow is if God chooses. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that people, they people die over stupid stuff.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, like, I remember a while back I saw news. I was watching the news. This was about, I don't know, maybe a couple years back, and some kid got shot over a pair of Jordans. I'm like, is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it?
I mean, especially over something that's easily replaceable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just look, because I see people in business suits, and I see people like who are going to work in the morning, and it's just like they look like they're dead inside.
Because it's like it's a routine that's basically go do something I hate Monday through Friday, party over the weekend, and then once Monday morning comes around, right back to the same cycle over again.
Yeah, and then they realize that they're wasting majority of their money on partying and doing fun things to suppress what they're actually
hating inside.
Yeah,
but it makes you. Well, once you become aware of it, it makes you reevaluate exactly where things fit into your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you should do this on, some type of regular basis, whether it's weekly or monthly or even seasonally,
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it, that's what should be done. I mean, what can't grieve forever?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, a problem only goes on as long as you allow it to, because 9 years of being homeless, that's kind of a lot. Sometimes, and I'm not knocking him, I'm not disrespecting him or downgrading him in any way, but I think along the way, he probably may have had a few good opportunities to turn the situation around and then take it.
Yeah.
I mean, even within a year, something, it could have turned the situation around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely understand. I get so frustrated when I think about this, because I'm like, the guy is struggling. The guy is struggling he's struggling. And other people, they're struggling with other things, but they're not struggling with the magnitude that he's gone through.
Yeah, because they have the ability to meet the necessary needs that need to be met, like food, shelter, and.
But how come The View or like Oprah never did a show about that? Or like, why does Lifetime never do a show about that?
About what, homelessness?
Yeah,
or,
like a homelessness, like. People, like, what do you call it? You see people who go on there and like, or Dr. Phil, like, does a bunch of shows about middle class people who are struggling and stuff like that. They're having these little problems that I'm not going to devalue their problems, because there are a lot of people who have problems, but you never see these shows where it's like, okay, this man's been homeless for 9 years and he's been struggling with health, and like, do you know what kind of show that could be if you just say, well, what are the things you had to do to survive?
It could be like a very impactful show,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you know, they'd read the story and be like 9 years. I think somewhere along the line you missed the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But, like, there are some homeless men, like, I remember hearing a story about a homeless man, and he's like, yeah, I eat dog food. And I'm like, you eat what?
What?
Yeah.
What?
He's like, it tastes delicious after a while. And I was like,
Oh, do you know what you're doing to yourself inside?
but it's just like, wow. Or, like, how come they're, like, do you know the mental health problems that this guy must be going through right now?
But at the same time, you know, there are some brilliant people out there that are homeless, and you'd be surprised if you sat down and had like a conversation with them. You'd be impressed.
Yeah, I remember working at a soup kitchen once. I got a lot of soup kitchen stories, folks, but there's a lady, and she was raped. This lady she was a professor in the New York area. She was doing well. She had her PhD and everything. She had car trouble, and these men raped her in her car, and she never recovered from it. And she didn't have any family that could help her get on her feet. And she lost her apartment. She lost her job. She just lost it all because she really needed people to lean on, and there's no one to lean on. And like you'd see her just sitting down like reading National Geographic and a bunch of things. She's brilliant, but the thing she had went through was just like, wow, and it really affected her.
And you know, having people to lean on is one of the necessities that you need for life.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to show you that even brilliant people, even the top earners need people, you know. And like it goes to show you basically what happens when you have important needs that go unmet.
Yeah. Yeah, just because I'm gonna, I'm gonna play something real quick.
Now you get to
part.
choose any.
Yeah. That's definitely a good song.
We all need somebody to lean on.
You gotta love that song. And that's true. If I get one thing from this conversation is that you really need people to lean on. You really do.
And the first people you know that you ought to be able to run to is your family.
Yeah, but some people ain't got that option. Some people can't lean on your family. But you just hope that one day there are other people that you can lean on. And, But yeah, whenever I hear these stories, like I wish somebody would do that, make a talk show, call it Lean On Me. Seriously, and let that be the thing. Let that be the theme song, and just hear these stories of people and stuff like that that are struggling and all this stuff for people that ain't got anybody in their lives. Like that would be a good show to watch. Because right now on television, the stuff they have is just, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
So, did you watch the game last night?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Let's not go there, man. Oh my god. You're gonna. I'm nice and calm and everything like that. You're just gonna turn me into. Like
I say, it was everything. It lived up to its hype.
It did?
Yeah, very
wow. Good. What happened?
You gotta see it for yourself,
right.
you know.
All right.
Yeah, YouTube.
I like to, what do you call it? Like to play something else for you. This was an earlier conversation, but went on a little bit of a rant. But I just want to see, what do you think about the song? Now, keep in mind, I think that we as a society should be able to talk about race and the things that go on. So I want you to listen to this song. This was a song based on what Al Sharpton had said about Obama, about him not being a real black person. So listen to this. So what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, whoever created that song, I'm sorry, you know, there must be a real serious lack of knowledge on their part.
I mean, it's satirical. The person that created it is a satirist.
Is he racist or something?
No, he's not racist. He's satirical. I mean, this was the whole thing. Like the song said, LA Times called Barack Obama a magic Negro. What do you call it? Al Sharpton said that he's not a real black person because he's not like Snoop Dogg or Farrakhan and other people. And it's just, and like somebody said, all right, I'll make a satirical song about this.
That's like me. That's like somebody trying to say like, so basically I have to be like Snoop Dogg to be black.
That's like, exactly what I said.
I strongly disagree with that, you know.
I strongly disagree with it too.
I mean, like, first of all, I don't have, I like why would you? I don't know. Why would a person like that? Why would a person say that? Like you have to be like somebody else in order to be your own background.
Well, look at our culture, man. Are we an individualistic culture?
No, we're not. But still,
Why do you say no? We're not.
Because America has this thing called the melting pot, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
we're all supposed to be equal. Well, we all are equal in our rights and stuff like that. But there's not too much actual mixing going on, and by mixing I mean like there aren't too many people that actually will go outside of their own culture to learn about somebody else's culture and educate them on international affairs and stuff like that. Definitely.
I mean, we're not really the melting pot. Now we are the salad bowl, because we're like there's just so many combinations, but we don't mix together. A melting pot would imply that all of the cultures would just mix in together to create just one unique culture, but that's not happening. There's not a mixture. There's a salad, so it's just like so many different types to make one. I mean, it's a delicious salad because it's got like cheese and the chicken and like all that different stuff with bacon bits. That's a delicious salad. I'm getting hungry. That is the only reason I will eat a salad. With tons and tons of the blue cheese dressing just dripping from everywhere.
Nah, man. I for me it's Italian all the way.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that too. But yeah. That's just like wow. But yeah, I seem to like but yeah, there aren't too many people that do mix, that are willing to go outside their culture or outside what they believe and stuff like that.
I mean, actually, you know what? I'll take Barack Obama for example. Like, he actually is showing people what love is all about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, he stayed within his culture to marry in his culture, but when I look at his job that he's done, he's done a tremendous job, and everybody has benefited from it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
How so?
Well, think about it. For people of color that didn't see that they have a chance in life, he rose to power.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what Rosa Parks did, what Malcolm X did. It's just that it's more current and evident now because before a couple of years ago, nobody thought that we would have an African American president.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of rumors that said that that he's half white, but that doesn't excuse the fact that that does not make him not African American. That makes him a mix, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a mix. In fact, if anything, we're all mixes. Like myself, I'm half black and half Indian, so I'd rather identify myself as mixed. Because when you like when you're checking off applications and stuff like that, they don't have all the boxes of all the different cultures that are actually evident in the States.
Yep.
So I'd rather check off other.
I mean, you just look at African Americans and you look at the lighter skinned ones and you're just like, yeah, you're not full African. Like you don't get that skin tone, like what do you call it, being from Africa. Like, you're definitely mixed with something.
Exactly. I mean, I check off, like, when I'm filling out applications, I check off African American and I check off other along with it.
Yeah, like, a lot of people like to make a big deal about Barack Obama. Well, he's half white. And I was like, if you look at majority of African Americans here, you're just like, yeah, they're like, somebody's master was going to the barn late at night. Because you're just like, yep, there's no way. But what do you call it? But yeah, I just look at it and I'm just like, okay, there are plenty of African Americans out there that listen to rock music. I love listening to rock music. I listen to Nirvana. Like, I do a bunch of crazy sports. I like to sail. I like to go swimming.
Yeah, me
for
too.
God's sakes.
Like, I like listening to Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm. I like
Park,
ice fishing
Eminem.
and hunting, for God's sakes. I do believe in First Amendment rights. I do believe in, what do you call it, like people being able to buy guns and all that stuff, but like safely for hunting. I mean, it's just like, I used to be a Republican, for God's sakes. So it's just like, yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's like at one point I thought about being Democratic, and then I started seeing the Republicans kind of like really just like man up and take over.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw what the shadiness of Republicans as well, so I chose to be independent.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now too. I'm independent because I'm like, I hate northern. What do you call it? It's just like I just hate the way northern Democrats do the work. It's just like they expect you to vote for them because they're like, well, who else are you going to vote for? You're not going to vote Republican. And I was just like, I just might.
Well, the people who actually did their homework and did the research, they may not be saying that. Like, so who else are you going to vote for? Okay, let's see. I like this other candidates. I did research on him. I think he has a better voting record than you,
Mm-hmm.
and he's more vocal about issues and stuff like that. He's got more results than you. Then the person that's actually representing him right now would be like, oh, yeah, I might want to. Yeah, you better. We better get to work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, right now I'm thinking about voting for Ralph Nader right now because I'm just like, I don't know who to vote for. It's like, I don't know if I can vote for Obama, but I look at the Republicans and I was like, there's no one I can vote for there. Not one candidate that I could. Well, that's not true. I could vote for Rick Perry, but it doesn't look like he's going to be the candidate. So I was like, yeah. And I think a lot of people don't want to do a repeat of Bush.
Nah, nobody wants a repeat of Bush.
Mm-hmm. Because the next Texas governor, I don't think there will ever be another Texas president ever again.
Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I would like to see Mayor Bloomberg run for president.
I would hate to see Mayor Bloomberg.
I would love it. Here's why.
Okay, go ahead.
His sense of business.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, within a couple years, we'd be out of this mess.
He's not going to win. One, he's an independent.
Exactly. Those are the cons right there.
Yeah. Another thing, he's got to win the Christian vote.
Which he actually has a chance because
winning the Christian vote.
Nah, I honestly think so, and literally because
the Midwest and the South, they're really gonna vote for a guy. They're gonna vote for Bloomberg.
They voted for Bush, didn't they?
Yeah, but Bush isn't. I mean, it wasn't like George W. Cushbum. Or Kustenbaum.
I'm not talking about the father Bush. I'm talking about the son.
Yeah, that's it. I wish he would vote. I wish he would run for president. Seriously, I'd vote for that guy.
Nah, no way. Nah.
If the father would definitely take care of that one.
Oh, the father, I have no problem with.
Yeah,
the
Father
son,
Bush,
The son, yeah,
The only thing I like about George W. Bush is he made George W. Bush is he made me laugh. He just made me laugh.
Nothing was funny.
Get that? Yeah, it was. Like, get the word right, Bush. Get the word right. Nuclear. Like, oh man, he got it wrong. He got it wrong. Why? You can get the word right. Well, the terrorists they're terrorizing all the fine people in what country we attack?
The only thing I've ever agreed with him on was when he told Americans to return to work.
Yeah.
And don't let these people scare you. That's the only thing I ever agreed with him on. After that, I went back to hating him.
Nah. I love Republicans when they say lower my taxes. Because, but when they say lower taxes, I want them to mean, like, income taxes. I don't believe there should be an income tax. People pay, people are paying too many taxes in this country, for God's sakes. And we're not getting anything for our taxes. Like, what, and why should students have to pay income taxes, for God's sake? Especially when their check is like $75. Are you kidding me? You're taking money for $75?
Well, why do you think that when people rise to power, they never turn back?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That just happens.
That's how
just
people
really
move
happens.
across the seas, out of the country.
People don't do that. People don't. What do you call it? They just wanna live in their own lifestyle. You know. Like people, I don't know. I mean, if I think about it, all right. I look at this. If somebody gave me $300 million, would I ever return to the Bronx? Yes. But that would be because I want to make a couple of movies in the Bronx. Other than that,
You see?
no.
You see? My point exactly.
Oh, no. That's not true. There's a couple of places in Little Italy and a couple of restaurants I'd like to go to, that continue to go to. But other than that, I probably want to move somewhere else and, like, enjoy other places. It's like you've kind of been there, you've had that experience, you want to move on. Like, I want to go to New Mexico and try Chico's Tacos, for God's sakes.
Me, I would actually stay in the city.
You would? $300 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would try to find the cheapest apartment I ever could, but knowing that this is not going to ever happen. But, you know, I'd be a total cheapskate.
Oh my God, $300 million and living in the projects. Oh my God. Wait, that sounds like the greatest sitcom of all time. Seriously. I'll be your next door neighbor. I'll be like Kramer.
You see?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. Right over in the projects.
But your house is like all like it's just beautiful. Like you just took over an entire floor of the projects, and that's just your own section.
Yeah, you know.
Oh my God.
Maybe I'll buy a brownstone too.
Buy a brownstone?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice. I
mean, well, actually, my pops used to own one, so it's like I think that would actually be a sound investment.
Gotcha. But yeah, like people have a sense of they want to move on. They don't want to keep on doing the same thing. It's kind of like, I don't know. I find myself being more of a traveler, like more of someone who really wants to keep on. Like I don't want to, like, let's say I retire. Like I'm 65 years old. I've retired. I kind of want to move. Like let's say I moved from New York City to like Michigan, and I had a good life. I want to move somewhere else. Move to Arizona or something like that, or New Mexico or Utah, and like kind of learn what life is like there while I'm old, and like maybe like do some other things, you know? Or like if I have enough, like open up a small farm or a winery or something like that.
That's why I would be a total cheapskate. You know, it makes it easier to phase in all the business ideas I have. I mean, like I would also open up a restaurant.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like to
food
open
is
up a
key
restaurant.
to survival.
Especially like I like to make a large, like a quesadilla pizza, something like that.
Or maybe start a chain restaurant or something.
Definitely. What would we call it? Jones Brothers. What?
Jones Brothers Fooderia.
Nah. Oh, Jones Brothers Wine and Liquor. That would be the first one.
But then we would just have to dedicate that one to wine.
Yeah, that'll be our wine and liquor place. And
now
then
we still got to have a question about the food one.
Yeah, which one would be the food one? What kind of food would we be serving?
Oh, definitely got to be seafood.
Yeah, and Italian food, and Mexican, and Chinese, and donuts.
You know what? We serve every type of food from every culture.
Yeah.
Just take over. And it's got to be an all-you-can-eat restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Jones Brothers all-you-can-eat buffet. No. What do you call it? Yeah, something like that. But it'd be like, or going, like, what do you call it? Food, like foods from all around the world, just eating good stuff.
Eat in one place.
One place. You need German food, Russian food. If you need Italian, if you want to mix things up, come on down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jones Brothers buffet.
Keep a few businesses domestic. Take a few international.
Yeah. We can compete with what do you call it? Chicken and waffles.
You mean KFC?
Oh my god. What's that? Roscoe. We can compete with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. That would be funny. And KFC. KFC would be like, you guys gotta stop selling this stuff, man. You're running me out of business.
Too bad for you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about something real quick. It's about... Okay. I think I written on a rant yesterday about this, but I'm going to talk about it tomorrow too, but... This is it. High school... What do high school, prison, and college have in common?
You all have to survive.
And what does that entail?
Joining a clique.
Yes, you gotta join something. Whenever it's an institution thing, you gotta join something to survive. And it's just like, why is that? Why?
Because the lone wolves don't make it.
Yeah, they don't make it. Yeah, I mean, it's great story. Makes for a great storyline. Like the bad guy, the guy that's just like, if you like that movie Faster with The Rock, he's just like lone in prison, but he like kicks everyone's butt, doesn't take anything from anyone.
The rock bottom of people's elbow.
Mm-hmm. It's just like wow. But what do you call it? It's great and everything, and there's probably some lone wolves that have made it, but it's very few, very, very few.
And
but,
even they have had to have some help along the way.
Mm-hmm. But it just seems like a lot of people, like they have the need to join something to survive because they think that's how they will survive. Do you agree with that?
Somewhat.
Somewhat,
because you're gonna cross a threshold where you're gonna need help at some point, somewhere, sometime, someday.
Mm-hmm. But does that mean that you necessarily have to join something?
It might, maybe for a couple months, or even in this case, a few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I find that problematic for me.
What would you say? That
I'm not a joiner.
So you're more like a leader.
I'm not a leader either. Like, I'm not the leader. I'm like Cheney.
Yeah, if you're not a leader, then there's only one other thing that
I'm like,
and that's a follower.
I'm like Dick Cheney. I don't want to be president. I don't want to, like, what do you call it? I really don't want to be president at all. I don't really want to, what do you call it? I don't want to speak to people all the time and stuff like that, and just like, but I would like to give my advice and like just my thoughts on things, or to really just, because I can't join things blindly. Like, I'm not.
Well, you're never supposed to join something blindly.
But that's sometimes what you have to do in order to survive in that.
But sometimes sometimes it happens at random.
Yeah,
but you're not totally blind to it. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed that will never happen.
Mm-hmm. But it's just, what do you call it? I'm not, what do you call it? I guess I am a leader, but I'm not that type of leader that people nowadays want. I'm not the leader that lies to you. Like, I'm not the leader that will tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you the opposite of what you want to hear, because that's what you need to hear. Yeah. I'm the type of leader, I'd probably be better like war situations, like civil war situations and stuff like that, where it's just like I'm just talking to my men and I'm just like, all right, this is the deal. You fight and you don't give up. If I see you give up, I'll shoot you myself.
I mean, that'd be a hell of a motivator.
Yeah, that's
like
a hell of a motivator. What?
That's like pulling a Bob Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I was watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. It was 1999, and it was a triple threat tag team match with the tag titles on the line. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kane and X-Pac on one team, the Acolytes on the other, and the Undertaker and the Big Show. Mm-hmm. Now, Big Show had been getting his butt whooped in that matchup, and then one time, two of the people from the two other teams knocked him out of the ring at one point. And I remember Taker saying, "You want the knowledge? You want the knowledge?" And he slapped the Big Show right in the face. And he set the back of the ring, and the Big Show laid everybody out.
Nice.
And Taker said, "Yeah, if the Big Show loses these tag titles, he's gonna have much more to worry about than that loss."
Yep.
And definitely. I was like, Taker just pulled a Bob Knight.
Yep. But yeah, that's how. I mean, that's how I am. Like, I'm not somebody that's gonna tell you what you need to hear. I'm not somebody that's gonna, what do you call it?
You mean what you want to hear?
What you want to hear. I'll tell you what you need to hear, but I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm not somebody that kisses butt or anything like that. My focus is getting the job done, making sure it's done right, but also, like, getting criticism, that's fine, and all that stuff. I like to hear criticism. I like to know what else. I'm like the guy who invented Walmart. Walmart's so successful because the guy's like just very, very meticulous with how he did it. He's just like, well, why is it like that? Well, why are we, like, constantly questioning things and, like, seeing how can customer satisfaction be better?
Dude, if you don't question things, you don't learn.
Yeah. But it just seems like the more people who join things, or the more the way society is, not too many people want to question things. And I think that's why we're in the situations we're in society.
I mean, a person like me, I'll argue to the death.
Me too.
I mean, I'll work with you. We'll make great tag team partners if we have to. But best believe there's going to be some type of disagreement somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm okay with disagreeing with someone. I'm really okay with disagreeing with someone. But there's also a thing about, what do you call it? Okay. Why would you ever say, I respectfully disagree, when you don't respect the person?
Well, first of all, if you have an image to protect, that's one reason to do it. But if you don't, then it's like, you want to tell them you disagree, especially if it's a person you care about. You want to tell them you disagree with them, but you don't want to do it in the way that will basically crush them. I mean, out of sight, not out of mind and out of sight. But on the other hand, it's like something that's been festering up, and there's like, and sometimes it's like people keep poking at it, and I'm like, dude, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And then you see people start getting angry, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing it, and then like I was like, after I explode on you, don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, and then he's like, but why you did this to me? I told you not to mess with me.
Yep. But I look at whenever it's a service industry or something like that, or whenever it's what do you call it? Well, things could get better, but what do you call it? It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. You just kind of get okay. It's kind of like when you're looking for college, like to go to. What's the first thing that colleges want you to do? Like, they want you to go on tours and talk to students and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I did when I was looking at colleges? I'd go for the visit day and everything like that, but I'd stay an extra day. And this is what I do. I'd go around and I'd ask people who look, the people that just look the worst. Like, the people who just look miserable. And I was like, can you tell me why I shouldn't go to this school? Or can you tell me some bad things about this school that they don't want me to know? And then you make a decision from there, and you're just like, wow. That, like, what do you call it? It's all, like, because the people, like, sometimes when you want to learn something or when you want to get information, the people who have experience with, like, how people are dealing with things, or, like, usually, like, students are invaluable because they can give you their experiences to what's actually going on, not administrations or even, like, prison systems.
Part of the reason is because either they have their safety or their job's on the line.
Yeah. So you can't really, if somebody's job is on the line, you can't really trust them. You can't really trust what they're saying, But, like,
unless you can protect their identity.
Unless you can protect their identity. If you can protect their identity, then it's just like, okay. But what do you call it? Like, I'm not someone who will. What do you call it? Oh, okay. Here's an example. My friend wanted to go for a job. We worked at the same place. He wanted a better job, and he wanted, what do you call it? He's gonna give him more pay and all that stuff. And they had to interview people like who had worked with him. And I respectfully said I'd like to decline doing that, like, and being interviewed for him. And they're like, why? And I was like, I don't think I can, like, what do you call it? I know him personally, but I don't think I can represent him well, like, what do you call it? But they're like, no, you have to. You kind of have to give us, like, we need information. I was like, okay. And I was like, since I have to, all right. And they're like, well, do you think he'll be good for the job? I was like, no, I don't think will be good for the job. And they said that it will remain anonymous, which I was happy about. So, what do you call it? He was like, or they're like, so why do you think? And I was like, okay, usually he comes in late. He's not very punctual. He's not very, what do you call, attentive to what's going on. He's horrible with customer service. Like, he's not really good because, and I'm just giving them long list of why this guy shouldn't get it. And he ended up not getting it. And I felt bad, but then I thought about it and I was like, okay, would you really want this guy continuing to work, what do you call it, with an even bigger responsibility? Do you think he could do it? And he's just like, no. But I was glad I was protected. Like, I talked to him afterwards, like, he's like, don't worry, it just means I gotta do better next time, and I really gotta fit. And he did. He ended up getting a better position anyway because he started pulling his weight around more and started doing better.
Started straightening up.
Yeah, started straightening up and all that stuff. But it was just like, wow. But yeah, like, when it comes to institutions, you never really want to talk to the people who run the institutions, because those are the worst people to get the best information from. Best information are people who are inside the institutions. Like, even prisoners. Like, we don't ask prisoners, like, so why is there a need to join a gang? Why is there a need, like, what's going on? And, like, get, like, real deep explanations of what's happening. And I'm just like, I think the prison system would be a lot better if we really tailored it, like, we adjusted it, like, really figured out what's going on. Because it's just like, you shouldn't send a kid to prison for smoking pot. Like, the things that kid will go through, and he'll be an even hardened and he'll either be a hardened, worse criminal than he was before, or he will, what do you call it, let's say, like, he wasn't a bad guy from the beginning, so then he gets raped in jail and stuff like that, and he's just, like, you've just given him a lifetime of just, man, for weed. For weed? Are you kidding me? Where it's legal in some countries.
Well, the thing is sometimes some teenagers need it harsh because always playing, gatsy or trying to take it easy on them ain't gonna always work.
But I think there should be steps. There should be psych evaluations before you do that. Like, most judges just say, okay, you're going to jail for that because you did this. Like, one of my mentors, he's a judge, and he's like, I'm going to send you to therapy, and I'm going to make you do community service, and I'm going to really look at this psych evaluation before I do anything else to see what's going on with you. And if you look at a lot of psych evaluations, like, well, why is he doing this? Oh, he has a horrible life at home. He's not doing well at home. Like, he's like, you just look at the stuff that's been mounting up, and it's just like, okay, can we try changing the environment and see how it goes? And one kid actually did better because he started living with he started living with his dad, and he started, what do you call it, is a better home for him, a better environment. He started going to school and stuff like that, and started really just excelling. Like, he's on an honor roll in high school.
There you go.
Because,
See?
like, another judge who didn't do that would have just sent that kid to juvenile hall. And it would have been worse for him.
But then again, the law has its own way of working, you know. Like, there are questions that come up, like, you know, is this the kid's first time in court, or, like, you know, has the family had a history of being in family court, or is a first offense, or does he have a rap sheet, this, that, or all different kinds of variables are in there. Like, you know, that he had even, like, you know, if there was a lawyer representing him, was the lawyer competent? Was the judge even aware of what was going on? Did he get bad counsel? Or, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but most people will just go, like, what do you call it? I mean, how bad is it? Can a person really give his best when he's been doing it for 30 years, like being a judge for 30 years, seeing the same? Imagine you started out as a judge in the 1960s to like 2010 or 2011, and all you have seen is like blackface after blackface after blackface with crime and crime. Are they really going to be able to give a non-biased opinion about what's going on?
99% no and 1% yes.
Why is it a 1% yes?
Because I saw a video on YouTube where Bill Cosby had actually spoken to two judges, and they said, I'm tired of seeing the same people in my courtroom, which is the same question that you're asking me right now. And throughout that video, he actually stated that we've got to do something about this. Like, you know, he even compared crime in the how can I say this, in the African American communities to crime in the suburbs, or crimes in the much more upscale neighborhoods. And he even asked the question, why every time their neighborhood is on the news, why is their crime scene taped up behind the reporter, and this and that, and then they're also wondering why is this stuff happening? Like, why is an African American afraid to walk down a street in his own neighborhood? That shouldn't be the case.
I mean, I was watching the other day, documentary, and the thing is, these cops are saying, okay, in a certain neighborhood in the Midwest, it's like really poor neighborhood, like every building's run down and stuff like that. It's just not doing well. The mother, like a cop is describing what the norm is, and he's like, the norm is this: mother, young 30-year-old mother, has a teenage kid, doesn't know what to do, can't get a job, has no education at all, not even a GED.
And it's a cycle that goes over
has
and over
multiple
again.
kids, tells a teenager to go sell drugs. Teenager goes sells drugs, makes $900 $900 a night, can pay for pay for all this stuff. Basically, he has to be an adult and all that stuff. He's a hardened criminal by 14 years old, like selling drugs and all that stuff for his mom. And I'm just like, okay, if you know that's the norm, the law cannot help in that instance. The law's hands are tied. There's nothing they can do. Well, what they can do is say, okay, we need to figure out ways to combat this, because throwing them in the prison's not a good idea. It's just going to keep on happening. They'll be replaced because of this constant poverty. But there should be other things that should be done. Like, okay, what do they need? They need jobs. They need jobs to work and... Okay, why? Go ahead.
Not even.
Go ahead.
First thing they need is education.
Yeah.
Because that's where it all starts. Because no education, no job. Flat out. 1, 2, 3. Secondly, then once they got the education rolling and stuff, then you bring in the jobs. Because it would make no sense to have jobs in in neighborhoods where people have no education because then one you would have.
Do you really need an education to like bake bread and stuff like that? Like to work for
even for that, you got to go to cooking school or something.
Yeah.
Like
not like that, but like the bread lines, like the big factories and stuff, like factory jobs or something like that.
Even I mean, even
true.
most
That's
of those, even most of the people who work in those factories have some type of education. You know, like a high school diploma or something.
Yep.
But if you don't make it past high school, let's face it. Well, even more so today, basically high school diplomas are jokes.
Yeah.
Flat out. I'm sorry to say it. Well, actually, I'm not sorry to say it because it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. True.
And if you have anything less than a high school diploma, forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just ain't happening. Nowadays, like, people have to get bachelors and masters because because things are much more serious now. Back then, 20 maybe 30 years ago, where you could actually have a high school diploma and be all right. But now, like, if you really want to make it to the top, you have to have that master's, that bachelor's, that PhD. Associates too. I would put associates up there, but I think the associates is really just the start.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's better than nothing, man. It's better than nothing. But you see all these things, and you see, and it's just like, okay, there's got to be something that could be done here. There's got to be something. Just, I think the key to this is, like, you have to be wary of institutions, and, like, because the things that they see every day can't be, what do you call it? I mean, at least that's what I would do. Like, I think I'm a very conscious person to know that whatever I end up working for or, like, doing, that I have to separate myself from that in order to, which is hard, but I need to separate myself from that in order to really make even better decisions.
Because you have to have balance.
Yeah, you gotta have balance.
You have to have balance because if you don't, it's like a person that works too much and doesn't know how to relax.
Yeah,
it's not gonna work.
Nope.
At some point you're gonna hit burnout, or your work ethic is gonna start to suffer because you don't know how to basically fall back and say, let me rest for a little while, let me go do something else, or like, maybe even spending an hour playing video games all day. If you're owner of a Fortune 500 company, even that just a day, even that just 1 hour a day, it helps. Because even some of the world's best doctors play video games. Why? It's a release. It relaxes them, and it actually, at the same time when they're relaxing, they're training their hands. They're training their hand-eye coordination, which you need for things, especially when you're doing surgeries.
Yep, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. One more thing I'm gonna play for you. What do you call it? This was pretty cool when I looked at it first. But, hold on. What the heck? Oh my god. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds here.
Actually, I was gonna put the link to the videos I was talking about earlier onto your Facebook wall, so you could see it for yourself.
What? Oh, there you go. I found it. Sweet. This is Ron Paul. When a lot of people are liking him right now, but I'd like to play something for you real quick.
Let me ask you this hypothetical question. A healthy 30-year-old young man has a good job, makes a good living, but decides, you know what, I'm not going to spend $200 or $300 a month for health insurance because I'm healthy, I don't need it. But something terrible happens, all of a sudden he needs it. Who's going to pay for if he goes into a coma, for example? Who pays for that?
In a society that you accept welfareism and socialism, he expects the government to take care of him.
What do you want?
But what he should do is whatever he wants to do and assume responsibility for himself. My advice to him would have a major medical policy, but not before.
But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have it, and he needs intensive care for 6 months. Who pays?
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risks. This whole idea that you have to prepare and take care of everybody.
But Congressman, are you saying the society should just let him die?
No. I practiced medicine before we had Medicaid in the early 1960s when I got out of medical school. I practiced at Santa Rosa Hospital in San Antonio, and the churches took care of him. We never turned anybody away from the hospital, and we've given up on this whole concept that we might take care of ourselves, assume responsibility for ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, our churches would do it. This whole idea, that's the reason the cost is so high. The cost is so high because it dump it on the government, becomes a bureaucracy, it becomes special interest, it kowtows to the insurance companies and the drug companies. Then on top of that you have the inflation. The inflation devalues the dollar. We have lack of competition. There's no competition in medicine. Everybody's protected by licensing. We should actually legalize alternative health care, allow people to practice what they want.
What did you think?
I totally agree with Ron Paul. People basically have they have the ability to choose for a reason. If that wasn't the case, then there would be no freedom of choice, no freedom of speech, no revolutions, no battle against racism or not even capitalism, because all of that goes back to the person's ability to choose, which then goes back to education, which we were talking about earlier. You have to know about your choices to make good choices. If you choose without researching, that's just as stupid as people thinking that 2 plus 2 is 5. No, 2 plus 2 is 4.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard Ron Paul say. Well, I've heard a lot of dumb things Ron Paul said, but just...
I didn't agree with all of it.
Just let me... Just give me a minute here. But Ron Paul is just... we're the richest country in the world, and we're telling somebody that because he doesn't have health insurance, he's a healthy 30-year-old, and he needs your help, that we should let him die. And that just doesn't make sense to me, because there are a lot of other countries who don't have half the money we have, and healthcare is free. Like, high school is free.
Yeah,
high school education is free. So, but there are alternatives. You can send them to Catholic school, and you can send them to other things, more expensive schools, if you want. It's your choice. If you have the money, you can do it. And I say, why not make healthcare that way? If you can't afford healthcare and it's too much for you, and the companies are not giving you good deals, or they're worried about being sued, so if a doctor messes you up, or right now, healthcare is so crazy right now because they can determine what doctors you see just to save money, or say that, you know what, where you don't want to pay for that surgery, let's see if we can do some alternative surgeries instead of the surgery you need. And alternative medicine is BS. Alternative medicine, like, we studied this in class with alternative medicine, with water memory and all that other stuff. Go ahead.
See, I understand what you're saying, especially from a psychological standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense. But I think when he said no, I don't think he meant no, we should let the person die. I think he meant, why not I mean, even though we're rich, you still have to make smart decisions. And in that case, I think when he was answering that question, I think what he thought was, why did this person choose not to get health care? Mm-hmm. Because even with intelligence, you still have to make smart choices. That's how you maintain balance between being professional and having a personal life. Mm-hmm. You need both, and if you don't have the balance, one is going to trump the other. Mm-hmm. And while I agree with him, like everybody should be healthy, but the fact is everybody's not. Yeah. Not everybody is healthy.
Yeah.
And partially it's because of stupid decisions we make. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, if the doctor came and told you, hey, one more bite of that fried chicken, you might be a goner, and you take that final bite and you and somebody, basically croaks.
What kind of fried chicken?
Deep fried chicken. Extra crispy.
Yeah, I take it. I've lived a good life.
But I'm saying that, like, if you're not doing what you know you should be doing to maintain your body, mm-hmm. then don't be surprised when you're facing issues that a normal healthy person doesn't have to face.
I mean, I understand, but there are a lot of people right now. Let's say you get a healthcare system, like let's say you get a health insurance, worst health insurance possible. Mm. They want you to pay $200 a month. If you are in a tight budget and you say to yourself, well, I can pay $200 a month, but the problem is I can't eat. What are you going to do?
Hey, it depends on what you eat.
I mean, like, just take that situation. Okay. Just take that situation.
For what it is?
For what it is. $200 a month. You pay it, you don't eat.
You can't eat. Oh, man.
Because this is what people go through. There are some people that if you take $50 away from their paycheck, they might be homeless because they can't pay their rent.
Well, if I was in that situation, mm-hmm. the first thing you would have to ask yourself is, okay, what is absolutely necessary that I need? Mm-hmm. Versus what isn't.
I'm talking about someone who that's all they have is the necessities. That's it. They don't have cable. They don't have like anything. They don't have a car note or anything like that. They can only afford they can only afford their rent, and they can only afford to eat. Like, they walk to work. That's how bad it is.
But maybe it's time for a second job. Maybe it's time for something different.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah, that's always an option.
But the thing is, I don't. How can I say this? But even if they were in that situation, uh-huh. you always have to question, what was taught to them when they were growing up.
Yeah, there's all these, like, there's a bunch of these things that we can, like, go on and on and on about, but I just kind of see it like, well, one, alternative medicine is BS. So Ron Paul for saying that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I hope you never become president because, like, alternative medicine is just horrible. I mean, working out is good. Working out and other things like that, taking care of your body, that's great. But when it comes down to it, I think if you live in the richest country in the world, and a lot of other countries who don't even have a quarter of the money we make can give people free health care and let people who want other alternative health cares, like, do so, then it can be done.
Like private health.
Yeah. You can have private, I mean, public high school and private high school, they coexist together. Public universities and private universities coexist together. Why can't it happen?
Maybe because people, in the medical field, you have people that invest a lot of money, and obviously, that's going to play a big that's going to play a big role, and in determining what happens and what doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's always things we can do. I mean, hell, we can make it where, well, if you work in public hospitals after a certain amount of time, all your debt is forgiven.
Yeah, which is the same thing they have for teachers.
Yeah, same thing we have for teachers. We've done all this before. This should be a no-brainer. And yet our Congress and our elected officials.
Part of the reason that they do that is because everything boils down to your health. Mm-hmm. If you don't, the saying, if you don't have your health, you don't have nothing, right?
Yeah, but I don't care if you have perfect health or horrible health. If you get rammed by a truck and you need surgery,
then it
don't matter what your health was like before that.
Basically, at that point, all you're worried about is what's going to happen now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Seriously, definitely. It does not matter what your health was like before. Like, if you get rammed by a truck, you need health care to get that surgery so you can survive.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I think he was saying. Like, why didn't you have it? Well, why didn't that for the person that?
But then he's an elected official. He should know that the people who live in the country, not every one of them can afford health care. That should be his business. And business is not good for him, apparently.
Well, you might be right about that, but still, at the end of the day, people have got to make choices for themselves. And let's face it, sometimes when you make a bad decision, you're not the only person that it affects. Like, let's say a person grows up with alcohol. A person grows up with.
Jesse, we're gonna give Jesse Jones the last word before we break before we end the show. This has been the Weekly Scholar. Jesse, carry us out with your last statement.
People have got to make better decisions, and it starts with the way they think.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
I guess you're not gonna make the last statement. For me, I guess I would say that people really have to question what's going on, that there are alternatives and there are solutions to things. It just matters if people have incentives to do them. And you should really be careful with your elected officials and think about the things that need to happen. I mean, put yourself in their shoes, which is hard to do. But if you lost everything tomorrow, and you got rammed by a truck, would you like to know that you will be covered, whether you have health insurance or not? And know that there are people that are struggling out there. All right, this has been the Weekly Scholar. Hope to see you guys next week. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our comedy show from 1 to 3 o'clock, probably. Yeah, it should be 1 to 3 o'clock, but we'll see if we can. Yeah, we'll check that out.
How can they contact us if they wanted to chime in?
They can actually call us live during the show. The number is 718-961-8502, and they can contact us by weeklyscholar@yahoo.com. weeklyscholar@yahoo.com. All right, thank you very much. Please enjoy this music.
Je t'aime, c'est le seul qui reste au bout de nos jours. Les vœux que l'on fait, les fleurs que l'on sème, chacun les récolte en soi-même. Au beau jardin.